Hey everyone, look, I'm sorry about being a little late. They changed some stuff up in StreamYard. Well, let's go. Well, that's just how life is. Sometimes they change stuff up at the last minute. We're on now, a couple of minutes late, but I'm glad to be back. We weren't here last week for Thanksgiving, and I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving and had spent time with their family. I actually spent time with my family, and it was time well served. Been thinking about you all a lot. Been thinking about this. Been thinking about coming back and talking about what my experiences have been within the last couple of weeks. And they've been trying. They've been very trying because anytime you're trying to do something that has never been done before, whether it's within yourself or whether it's within your community, it's trying. It is trying because it introduces you to things about yourself that you didn't know. And it also introduces the community that you're building in thing about themselves that they didn't know. I literally had to sit down with my team the other week and apologize, because I'm very big on asking, what is it that you want? What is it that you want to accomplish? What is it that you want out of life? And I would listen to them and they would tell me, their desires, they would tell me what they want. And then I realized I never really told them what I wanted. And I think one of the reasons I didn't tell them was because I was afraid to admit what I really want. And what I really want, after I really did a deep assessment within myself, was I want to change the world. Yeah. I want to do something that has such an impact that it changes the world. And I had to go back and apologize to them because sometimes that's not what you don't want the same thing. Some people say, "Hey, I just want a simple life." And there have been many times where I have wanted a simple life, but I'm just not wired that way. And I'm not talking about change the world like I want people to know my name or people talking about who I am. I'm talking about I want to see the fullness of my abilities to the point that I believe that it can change the world. And that's where I am. I apologize to them because it was only at that moment that I realized that even though everyone is talented and even though everyone people are following me, they may not want this. They may not want a journey that could potentially change the world. Maybe they want something smaller or maybe they want something even bigger. But I think it was important for us to realize, do we even align at this moment? Is this even something that we want to do? And as I continue to keep working on me, I just felt the sadness of letting go who I was because who I'm becoming is not the same person I was when I started. And what I want to accomplish, I can't accomplish this as the person I used to be. But no one told you that that's a sad process. No one said that that process of letting go of who you had to be to survive comes with grief because it's a loss. So it's been very trying this past week. It's been very trying to wrap my mind around it and to get in a place of being okay with that because it's been very confusing. This has been very confusing because you would think um, you would think this is a good thing. You would think that this is what I wanted, but it's not what you think. It's a sadness. It's a sadness because it makes you question who you've been all this time. And then it makes you question why were you that way? And the only thing that I can think of is I did this to survive. Who I was an attempt to survive. And coming out of survival into thriving, it's like I'm meeting a new person for the very first time. But I'm missing who I had to be, and I'm also missing the people who were attached to that person. And that's the stuff we don't talk about. Um, I never wanted to. This experiment that we're doing, it's really. I don't even advertise anymore because I feel like it's becoming so personal that it seems like it's more for me than anyone. And I think it's if someone can resonate with it along the way, that's even great. But it's really about me looking back over this and start saying, okay, this is where you started and this is where you go to. And I'm happy with the process that I've made so far. But I don't want to lie to you and make you think that it's been easy. I don't want to lie to you and make you think that there weren't days where I'm sitting up here saying, I understand why people don't do this. I understand why people don't go through the rewiring. I understand why people don't really go after what they really want. I understand why people play it safe. I get it. Because even though losing the old shell of who I had to be as a person, in theory, is a good person, that person was safe. It was safe not because there weren't any dangers, but because everything was predictable. I could predict, everything was familiar. And now I'm having to make choices that are no longer familiar. I'm having to make choices about making life moves with people who no longer feel familiar. And when I look back over my life, it was the familiarity of it all that was keeping me stuck. And that's what's happening to so many of you. You're stuck because you need the familiarity. You feel the safety, and it's not safe at all. It's stifling. So, like I said, this has been a very trying, a very challenging week. Been a very challenging couple of weeks, and I've had to accept what I really want, and I had to accept that it may take me reaching those goals with people I'm not familiar with. Not because the people that I'm with now don't love me, not because the people who have been around me all this time don't support and believe what I'm doing, but maybe we're no longer aligned for what it is that I'm really trying to accomplish. Because the most heartbreaking thing that I've been seeing as I show this dream to, the people I'm closest to and the people around me, they see it. They get it, but there's a part of them, like there was a part of me initially that makes me wonder, that make them wonder, like it did me, am I good enough for this? Or am I smart enough to really make this happen? Can we really do something that has never been done before? And I see it. And then I show it to people who I don't know who do get it, but then they think the idea is so good that now we got to worry about them trying to steal it because they're like, this is too good of an idea to pass up. So it had me in this very weird space of like, well, if the people I'm with are for whatever reason are not able to move forward with it, and the people that I'm trying to get help from, I don't know if I could trust them, then what in the world do I do? I mean, it's like I felt like I was stuck. And what I'm learning is that you're never stuck. It's that you're in a place of development. And I started the title off saying that anytime I can't find my keys, I know I'm in trouble. Anytime I cannot find my keys and I'm looking everywhere I can, I know instantly I am out of alignment. And I have been out of alignment because I have been resisting the very things that I have been talking to you about. Because those things were in my head, but they were not embodied in my heart yet. And the only way these principles can become embodied in you and they can resonate from you and they can just shoot from just your very presence is that it's the reps. It's in the reps. It's in the going over this over and over and over again that you're stopping saying, hey, I'm out of alignment. What am I feeling? What is the inspired action? And having the discipline saying, I'm not going to move until the inspired action presents itself. And this is where I got off in the last couple of weeks. it wasn't just about waiting for the inspired action. It was also saying I have to learn how to co-create with the universe, meaning that I have to allow God to bring in the people, the method, and the resources that he see fit, even if I'm not familiar with them. And ladies and gentlemen, I was not ready for that move. And I've been resisting that move for the last 2 weeks. And I was trying to ignore it. I didn't want to deal with it because I was comfortable with the people I chose. I chose to help me fulfill this dream. I was so comfortable with them because I knew them. I loved them. I know they loved me. And I did not give God any space to say, let me choose who's going to work with you to bring this out. Because my fear was, what if he brings in somebody I don't know? What if he tells me to go somewhere other than Mississippi? I was I was resisting that because that was too big. That was too foreign. That was too outside of my comfort zone. I could do the dream, but I got to pick the people. No, no, no. When God gives you a dream, your dream is to hold a vision. Your sole purpose is to hold the frequency of the vision that He gave you. It is God's job to provide who, when, and where. And that's the thing that I was trying to force. I was trying to force when it happened. I was trying to force who it happened through. I was trying to force what people would be involved and what people would not be involved. That's what I was trying to force. And that is why I couldn't find my keys and I was out of alignment. And in the last couple of weeks, I've had to go through a grieving process of letting my way go and letting go of how I operate. Because you know what my nickname was growing up? My nickname was Speedy. That's my nickname. I identified with speed. I identified with speed and ferocity. That was my personality. That's how I made films. That's how I made everything. But now I am trying to adopt this allowing process, and it's been kicking my butt because I didn't want to let go of those parts that I like best about myself. I like the fact that I used to do stuff fast. But then I could just hear my inner being saying this so clearly. You're not going to be first. And that was depressing me because I've been talking about micro dramas. I've been talking about this marketplace. I've been talking about Film Flow 7. And I have been seeing folk each week talk about, look, we're going into the vertical platform. Now fan base is starting to do the vertical platform in Atlanta. Then I saw some people I knew in Alabama that now they're talking about we're creating micro dramas on our platform. Each week I was sending it to my team like, look, we need to speed up. People are catching on. These brands are talking about creating their own studios. Look, the stuff that I've been telling y'all in our meetings, they're literally doing out public. They're literally doing it right now. We need to do something. We need to move. Nothing. Nothing was happening. I was losing my mind because it was like, why would God even give me this vision in the first place? And now I'm seeing people move on it, and my camp ain't doing nothing. And it feels like my hands are tied. And it feels like there's nothing I could do. And I'm like, and then it got to the point that I got so sad in the last couple of weeks. I'm like, did you even give me this dream? Did you even give me this vision? And at the moment where I was just like, something, I'm not going to even try to think about this. I'm going to try to enjoy Thanksgiving. I'm going to try to enjoy my people. I'm trying to spend time with them because I don't want to be stressed out about this because I can't make people see it. I can't make people move on it. But internally, I knew it was something dealing with me and not them, but I couldn't put my finger on it. And then it just happened. It just said, you don't have to be first to be 5 steps ahead. And I heard it and it sounded good, but it didn't make no sense. And I just kept hearing it. You don't have to be first to be 5 steps ahead. You don't have to be first to be the best. So when I started to settle in that, I started to feel, I started to feel lighter again. Then I started hearing the download started to come. The strategy started to come back because it had been silent. It had been absolutely silent for weeks. And I went through all types of emotional changes. One thing I can tell you this without certainty is that the nervous system does not negotiate. You're going to be in alignment or not. And I'm gonna be real with you people. I was just throwing an adult temper tantrum because things weren't happening the way that I thought they should happen. And letting go the comfort of speed for the upgrade of precision and timing and alignment. I know it was better in my head, but it wasn't, I didn't feel it in my body because my body was used to the speed. So I'm going through this process of embodying the things that I've been learning, that it becomes second nature. You have to keep doing the reps, and I keep doing the reps. I'm having to stop and say, hey, you know something? This don't feel right. I'm going in urgency. I'm going to keep going to alignment because alignment is going to create the magnetic field. It's going to pull the people. Then I had to become open because I was not open. I was not open to anyone being other than the people I knew. And then you have these strange encounters where you're bumping into somebody coming out of the gym and they say, hey, man, I was thinking about you. And like, what you doing? Something, I do this. Now I'm being open to those synchronicities. I was not because I wanted the people who I wanted to be a part of it. But sometimes the people that you want to be a part of are just not ready, or it's just not what they want. And you can't force them and you can't make them. The main job, if you have a vision, your main job is to hold a frequency. And what I mean by holding the frequency, it means that you continue to stay, study, feel the emotion of it, see the clarity of it, keep thinking about it, dreaming about it, letting it fill your heart, letting it fill your emotions, staying open until you feel it, not just in here, but in here. And once it lives here, it is our belief that it'd be impossible for it not to happen. Stay open. Stay open, my friends. All right. See y'all next time. God bless.